22. 10-yard line. 5. Mayfield. Dancy all around. Throw it as far as he can throw it. Jump ball coming. Crazy stuff. Not this time.
And you want to be a wide receiver. You're going to have to take a little bit of a hit like that as Brown got him in that shoulder. But watch. Those are teeth.
Do we have a dentist on staff here?
Shady Sportsman back here with a really special guest, kick returner, wide receiver, and defensive back with the Salina Liberty, Mr. Kendell Jefferson. Kendell, how are we doing today, big dog?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Just blessed to be here another day, another 24, another opportunity to, get after it.
Yes, sir. So kind of before transitioning to your own career, I kind of wanted to ask you about the NFC, AFC championship games today. Who do you got winning both of those?
AFC championship game, I'm definitely rocking with Baltimore. Got to go with my man Lamar. I'm not a big Pat Mahomes guy. I was rooting for Josh Allen and Buffalo and them, but you know how that happened. And then the NFC game, definitely don't like them Niners. So I'm rocking with Detroit all the way. They put my Tampa Bay Buccaneers out. Might as well bring it back to them.
It's going to be great.
I like what Dan Campbell's doing up there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's building a great culture. And, speaking about culture, you signed with a team with the most established culture out of any AFL team, the Salina Liberty. Coach O, man, he's a genius. He's a specialist himself. How much did that factor into your decision with signing with the Liberty?
To be honest, I had the Maids factor, the biggest factor of them all, because at the end of the day, I was under the assumption that I wasn't gonna go anywhere besides staying here, because I currently live in Billings, Montana myself. So I was like, oh yeah, it's only right. And things didn't just align like it was supposed to. We fell out of communication, so on and so forth. And then just came across them at one time. We was doing a Turkey Bowl charity event in right here in Billings, and when we was giving that up, he brought his own team. When his team came in, I was just gaslighting it, just telling him, talking crap like how I am. And I didn't think that he was going to try to think of anything of it. And he ended up wanting to pull the trigger on me from that. He got some references about me and heard a little bit about my background and stuff on. And then I said, you know what? That's the guy who wouldn't want to play for a winner. You know what I mean? And that was the first thing I told him. I said, hey, what do they always tell you? You can't beat them, join them. At the end of the day, join the winning team.
Coach O, man, he has great history in the CIF, won multiple championships. But, as I said earlier, being a specialist, he played with Devin Hester in Chicago. You being a specialist yourself, how do you plan to be used this year? Are you going to play more wide receiver than we've seen in the future? Or are we going to see you more at DB, you think?
Naturally, all my gifts is on the defensive side, but my ball skills are outrageous. So with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised what Coach O has in store for it and Coach Los has in store. I'm just excited to get to camp and showcase all my abilities, and I'm looking forward to being on the field as much as possible. My father always told me the best availability is durability. And if I could just hold on to my legs and play within, I want to say, an arena game is good to take between offense, defense, and special teams, anywhere between 100, 111 snaps. I think I could still do that. I did that a lot in my youth and growing up, so I feel like a little bit of everything.
I definitely can see you doing that. And, I saw your most recent Facebook video. It was you working on your lateral footwork. I left a comment. But, man, you look so fast. And considering you live in Billings, Montana, it's really cold up there. So the fact that you move that fast in the cold, I can't imagine how fast you'll move outdoors. How important has a point of emphasis has footwork been this offseason for you?
Footwork emphasis is big. When you're playing in the indoor game, it's all about spacing, timing, and those things like that. So with that being said, I have to be able to know where my leverage is trying to be attacked or how I'm trying to attack somebody's leverage. And me being such a big DB and paying so much emphasis to that, I think that transitioning to this wide receiver in the new AFL is going to be able to help me in a lot of reasons because I know what a DB doesn't like. I know what makes him discomfortable and things of that nature. So it should be a lot going into it. My footwork is a major thing. I love to protect my leverage as a DB, whether it's inside, outside, holding your ground, standing your pedal. You always have to figure it out. And when you watch the tape, that's what it says.
I wanted to ask you this question. It's really interesting to me. You play in the IFL with Quad Cities. You play with with Billings. What is the biggest difference between those two leagues when it comes to special teams?
When it comes to special teams, I want to say in the IFL versus the CIF, there was a lot of people that were still hungry at the IFL level because that was their only opportunity to get on the field. So with that being said, a lot of guys on the CIF, they was already content with they positions on whether offense or defense, so they wasn't giving they all on special teams. And in the IFL, I had to go against some big guys. I was on kickoff return on the front line. I wasn't on as a kick returner at that point. I had to hold my ground. I'm not the biggest of us, but I know how to hold my water when it comes down to it. And truth be told, there was several guys, Justin Rankin, I forget his first name, but Hendricks played in Sioux Falls. And these are some all-conference guys, backers and running backs running full head of steam. That was the difference versus CIF. And the CIF, you've seen a lot of people taking those plays off. I don't see that happening in the AFL. I see everybody going all the way, balls to the wall.
Man, I think that's going to be awesome. The AFL is going to try kind of change the way you kind of view special teams with the rebound nets and everything. When you look at the rebound nets, are you a fan of them or do you prefer just a regular goalpost?
I don't mind it. I have a huge baseball background, so me playing center field and being able to read stuff off of the back, the warning track and getting towards the fence and stuff like that, I could say I could get accustomed to it a lot more easier. It's going to take some repetition, obviously, of course, but that's why I'm doing specific training to try to get myself in those positions. Been doing some handball work in the handball court, throwing the balls off of those types of walls and trying to get a rebound net off my own.
Definitely. Yeah, that would definitely get you conditioned. I kind of want to transition here into your coaching career. You're a coach and a pro athlete, which I find insane, chasing your dream of being a D1 head coach someday, as well as chasing your dream of playing in the NFL. How do you kind of balance both those things?
At the end of the day, it's where my heart and dedication is. Like, I wake up and my first thing is football. Most of the time, my last thing right before I go to bed is something related to football. And I just can't get away from it, whether it's coaching, just giving out free game, or watching film, evaluating anything. Like, I just can't. I'm addicted to it, is what they say. And I try to balance it by just focusing on one out of the season, because my season goes into their spring season. So once I get done with all my recruiting and stuff of that nature, then I'm able to focus more so on my training and getting my feet back under me, my hips, my hands, my eyes, and then doing that. So I just kind of transitioned from spring and fall. Summer and fall to spring and summer.
You being an assistant defensive back coach, you have a lot of responsibility on the recruiting end. You have your own email address. I'm sure your email is blowing up with potential. How do you kind of sift through those? And what's your biggest piece of advice for recruits trying to get recruited?
I would say first and foremost, there's a lot of emails, and me myself, I know talent, and I feel like it's easy for me to identify it. You could tell when somebody is a dog, and then it's not just, oh yeah, he can make some plays. It's how much heart does he have in him. You know what I mean? Because you could be the best of them all, but if you ain't got no heart, how you gonna get across that finish line? You got to have some type of pride in what you do. You can't just have a stagnant, plateaued. And I feel like I'm pretty good at identifying that when I go to looking into a player or something of that nature. And then to answer the second question, what was the second question?
Oh no, the second question was like if I was a recruit, right, and I'm sending you an email, what can I stand out in your eyes?
Oh, okay. We always want to. There's a saying in the coaching world that you can't coach effort and attitude. So if I don't gotta have to worry about you having a hot head or things of that, and if you ain't gotta worry about like losing your guidance and not following under your instructions, I always want to say it's easy to coach a guy to have good feet, good hands, good eyes, and discipline versus a hard-headed guy that thinks he knows it all.
You know, Rocky Mountain College is known really, really nationally recognized school. And one of the things that's really interesting to me is you had a transfer quarterback come from Washington State this year, and he kind of inserted himself in the starting role, but he had to come in and he had to compete. Mm-hmm. How was that quarterback competition during camp?
That quarterback competition was so we have our guy originally. He's from Washington himself, and we were going with him. Second game of the season, first offensive series, he blows his hip out, literally breaks his hip and a whole bunch of other stuff. It was very vulgar, but that blossomed him into his role, and he has a guy that is a tight friend of his that they went to high school together, and they played on, and he was more so the reason why he came to Rocky, and he was like, hey man, we could build this chemistry. And that's exactly why that wide receiver guy ended up going over 900 yards, 10 plus touchdowns, 86 receptions. The quarterback room ended up, there's a lot of talent in that room. It's just undiscovered yet. It's a lot of raw kids.
Man, you know, Kendall, it's been great having this conversation with you. I learned a lot about your career personally. My final question for you today is you have a lot going on right now. You know, balance is important. You know, having a tunnel vision is super important in this business. Where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years?
I see myself just continuously to prosper going forward in life. Any positive steps is better than yesterday's. So I'm going to continue to try to get to where my actual goal is in the NFL, CFL. I'm not so interested anymore into the overseas opportunities like I was when I was in my early 20s and mid 20s. I just know that where my game is at, I can definitely play at the next level.
I have no doubt about that too, you know, with your speed and your size. I wish you the best of luck in 2024 and, you know, reach out if you need anything.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, my boy.